Hello PEI. Big thanks to Mike Montague for suggesting this fascinating topic. And a lot of folks are wondering if owning a home is even possible anymore.
It's true. The market has shifted a lot. And yeah, for a lot of people, that big down payment is the biggest hurdle.
Right. So maybe gifted down payments could be a way to make those island dreams happen, like a path to homeownership for people.
It's a hot topic for sure. And there's a good reason for that.
Yeah. So let's dig into this. What exactly is a gifted down payment, and how does it work here on Prince Edward Island?
Okay, so a gifted down payment, it's basically a financial gift. Usually it comes from a family member to help someone with a down payment on a home. Think parents, grandparents, maybe even a favorite aunt helping you get the keys to that charming little Victorian in downtown Charlottetown.
Oh, yeah. So it's like getting a boost up onto the property ladder,
Yeah.
which is super helpful with these, spirited housing prices we've got. But I'm guessing there are some rules around this.
Right.
You can't just have anyone handing out cash, right?
Right. You're right. Generosity is great, but there are definitely specific rules around gifted down payments. And they can be different depending on the lender. Typically, the gift has to be from an immediate family member, like parents, grandparents, siblings are usually okay, but friends or romantic partners, not so much.
So mom and dad to the rescue. But are there any limits on how much someone can gift?
That's where it gets interesting. There's actually no limit on how much you can give as a gift.
Wow, no limit. That's pretty amazing.
It is. But there's a little caveat. If the buyer is self-employed, they usually still have to put down 5% themselves.
Okay, so even with a generous gift, you still need some skin in the game, especially if you're self-employed. That makes sense. It shows you're committed and you're financially independent.
Exactly. And another important thing is that lenders often want to see what's called a gift letter.
A gift letter. What's that all about?
It's basically a document signed by the person giving the gift. It says that the money really is a gift and it doesn't have to be paid back. No strings attached. Like a legally binding pinky swear, it just helps make sure there's no confusion later on.
Right, so it protects both the giver and the receiver.
Yes.
And the lender knows everything's legit.
Exactly. It keeps things transparent and reassures the lender that everything is legitimate. They might also ask for proof of funds, like bank statements, just to double check that everything is squeaky clean.
Makes sense. Speaking of keeping things above board, what about taxes? Do you have to pay taxes on a gifted down payment?
Here's the good news. Gifted down payments are not taxable in Canada. So no need to worry about a surprise bill from the taxman.
That is good news. Now, I've heard of people talking about co-signing and co-borrowing. How do those options fit into the whole home buying picture?
Well, for people who need some extra support, partnering with family can look a few different ways. Co-signing is kind of like a safety net. The parent, for example, guarantees the loan, but they aren't responsible for making the regular payments. But if the main borrower, let's say their child can't make the payments, then the co-signer has to step in. So it's like a financial backup plan.
Right, so it helps the buyer get the mortgage. But it's a big responsibility for the co-signer.
Definitely. Now, co-borrowing is different. Both people are equally responsible for the mortgage. Their credit scores, their finances, everything is looked at. They're both on the hook for it.
So it's a true partnership with shared benefits and risks. It could be a powerful way to increase buying power, but everyone involved needs to be totally aware that they're sharing the responsibility.
For sure. It's super important that everyone's on board and comfortable with how it's all going to work.
Absolutely. Now, we've covered the general rules and ideas about gifted down payments, but I'm thinking there might be some Prince Edward Island specific things, like maybe some things that are unique to our island when it comes to this.
You're absolutely right. The broad strokes are the same across Canada, but it's always smart to talk to a local mortgage expert. They can give you the inside scoop on the specific regulations and what lenders here on PEI prefer.
But what are you seeing out there in the PEI market? Are gifted down payments pretty common these days?
These days, it's hard to imagine breaking into the market without a little help.
So this isn't just a theoretical thing. It's actually happening right here on PEI.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's just a reflection of what's happening in the market. With housing prices the way they are, it's just so challenging for young people to get started without some assistance.
Makes sense. So if someone's thinking about getting a gifted down payment, what are the first things they should do?
Well, the first and most important thing is to have a really open and honest conversation with the family member who's offering the gift. This is crucial. You want to make sure everyone's on the same page about the terms and conditions and what everyone expects. It's not just about the money, it's about communicating clearly.
Right. It's about setting clear expectations and making sure everyone's comfortable with the arrangement.
Exactly. Then, once you've had that conversation with your family, the next step is to talk to a mortgage professional. Explore your options and get pre-approved for a mortgage. That'll help you figure out how a gifted down payment might affect how much you can borrow.
So it's not just about finding that perfect little farmhouse in Belfast. It's also about looking at the numbers and making sure it all works with your financial goals.
For sure. You want to be confident that you're okay with the long-term commitment and that you can handle those monthly payments within your budget.
Are there specific things that lenders on PEI look for when they're deciding about a gifted down payment?
Yeah, definitely. Lenders want to be sure that the gift really is a gift and not a loan disguised as a gift. That's where the gift letter we talked about before comes in. It needs to be clear and concise and legally solid. It's all about transparency and making everything crystal clear.
So no scribbling it on a napkin at dinner, I guess.
Huh? No, definitely not. It needs to be official and properly documented so there are no misunderstandings down the line.
Right. What about proof of funds? Is that something lenders on PEI usually ask for?
Yes. In most cases, lenders want to see where the money's coming from. They need to verify that it's from a legitimate source. So things like bank statements, investment summaries, any documents that show where the money came from are important.
It's all about being accountable and doing things the right way.
Exactly. Lenders need to be careful and make sure everything follows the rules.
Are there any unique challenges or opportunities that buyers should know about when they're navigating the island's real estate market?
Well, one of the biggest challenges right now is that there just aren't that many properties for sale. We're seeing a lot of people wanting to buy, but there aren't enough houses available, and that's driving prices up.
It's that classic supply and demand thing. It's happening everywhere.
Exactly. It's a seller's market for sure. But that doesn't mean you can't find a great place. It just means you need to be patient and strategic. And you need to work with an agent who understands the ins and outs of the PEI market. The more prepared you are, the better. Don't wait until you're ready to put in an offer. Start by doing your research. Get pre-approved for a mortgage and talk to a real estate agent to get a sense of the market. That way, when you're ready, you'll be in a much stronger position.
And for our listeners, if you're looking for your island realtor, Mike Montague is the guy to call. He has the knowledge, the experience, and the passion to help you find your dream home right here on PEI. What happens if the relationship between the giver and the receiver changes? Like, say, in a divorce. Does the gifted down payment have to be paid back?
That's a really good question, Sarah, and one I hear a lot. The short answer is it depends. It really boils down to the agreement the two parties made in the beginning.
That's why that initial conversation is so important.
Yeah.
And having that gift letter written out clearly.
Exactly. If the gift letter clearly says that the money is a gift and there's no expectation of repayment, then it probably wouldn't have to be repaid if there's a divorce. But if things aren't clear, or if there was some kind of understanding that the money was part of a shared asset, then it could get more complicated.
So it's best to be super clear and get everything in writing up front. That way you can avoid any headaches later on.
Absolutely. It's all about preventing misunderstandings and making sure everyone is protected.
Well, this wraps up our deep dive into the world of gifted down payments. We hope this is giving you some valuable information and insights to help you as you navigate the exciting and sometimes confusing journey of buying a home.
And remember, homeownership is a big decision, but with good planning, expert advice, and maybe a little help from your loved ones, it can be a really rewarding experience.
So keep dreaming, keep planning, and keep looking at all those beautiful properties Prince Edward Island has to offer.
Until next time.
Hello PEI.